Hey guys, it's your humble host, or kill if you prefer. So, day 3. So, the clause came out. The first thing that was done in court, as soon as the judge got in the room, the jury was not in there, is they brought up my photos from last night. So, I knew that they were going to go after them. Anne and her team does not want James's true image being out there, although it's already out there to begin with. And then to make it even interesting, is they point me out directly to the jury. They showed the photos from last night. They had all the photos minus this one thus far were shown on an overhead, but they didn't show these ones. However, they were stacked with the photo of me and the boys on top, and they set it on the lower table in front of 2 jurors, and they left it there, which was really odd. But anyway, they pointed me out directly, and then they pointed out Jeff Morgan out because I believe it was Jessica that brought up Jeff's interview with Jeff Morgan. He runs a YouTube channel, and he is for a no-fault divorce. So he's another channel on here. I'll put his link in the description. So yeah, they were throwing anybody who had covered this pretty much underneath the bus. They went after LifeSite News and the reporter that went in to James and Jude's room. So they pretty much try to check all of us underneath the bus. So as I said in my Twitter thread, I will not be posting more photos, but this kind of proves my point, the way that they reacted with the photos. Now, here's the irony of it, okay? So they made such a big stink about them. So one of the highlights of the hearing was when O'Neill brought one of Jeff's witnesses. It was a friend named Jan. They showed photos of James and Jude being in their natural state, dressed as boys, goofing around, just talking about her grandkids. There's a photo of all the children with James, Jude, and her grandkids. So what's interesting, and this is my opinion, I do not think they were too bright. In my opinion, I think Anne's legal team is not very intelligent. Anyway, so let me explain. So they're showing these photos, saying giggly, goofy, James and Jude. Those had the same exact feel and impression as my photos. Now, if you look at the significance of that, I'm a nobody. As I said in here, I'm just Chambers, I'm just observing this. But the fact that it made such a stink about a third party nobody taking photos and posting them on Twitter in natural state, natural moments, and then you have someone who is a witness with similar, if not exact feel photos, same facial expression, same smiley like goofball boys, you kind of just validated the photos that some nobody just posted and proved even further what Jeff has been saying. That is my take on it. I'm not a legal expert, but rules of YouTube, anybody who has been on social media for a very long time, does YouTube, Twitter, and all that, if you want something to go away, you do not bring attention to it. If you do not want people to notice something, you don't draw attention to it. These are like basic rules when it comes to YouTube, Twitter. When people goof up, they usually shut up about it, and it goes away. No, these guys, I don't think they understand how social media works. I don't think they understand, well, if we point this person out and the fact that they have a social media and they're posting natural photos and it's a nobody, a third party that has similar, if not exact looking photos, if the boys act in the same way in these photos as they do in the ones presented by the witness, I don't understand. Like, if I was Anne's legal team, I would have kept my mouth shut about those videos and photos. Because, and again, I'm not touting my horn, I'm not being arrogant, legally speaking, because they try to say I interviewed the boys when I did not. As you can see, the shot of the camera is far back. And the only post for video that I had with the boys was just to tell us. Otherwise, not all those photos were natural. Was it me in their faces? It was kind of me hanging back, just kind of observing them. And I did that on purpose. So the fact that they tried to tell the judge, oh, well, this blogger had an interview with the children, no, it was a complete and total lie. So O'Neill had to take Jeff out of the courtroom and talk to him, and then he comes back, he goes, this was from a dinner party. Jessica tried to imply that Jeff invited all these people to meet his kids. No, it was just a few of us who went over to one of Jeff's friend's house after court. It wasn't like this huge crowd. So they try to paint it and they try to blow it way out of proportion. The judge was not too thrilled about the images and the video being posted. She thought that didn't portray the boy's safety in a good way. Again, let me reiterate too, is she's taken this from a professional stance. Remember how protective she is of her jurors, and explain what happened with that. So she's making sure that there is no outside influence. She doesn't want the jurors digging things up. She doesn't want them being influenced by any third parties. She wants them to base their decision off of the witness testimony and the documentation that's shown. So that's a professional manner, tight ship, and I already stated that on Twitter. But one of the other highlights outside of that witness, Jan, and the photos, which again, I think they're freaking stupid for pointing out two YouTubers, but anyway, what were some of the other highlights? One of the expert witnesses, which I did not know, if I remember, it's William, I believe it's William Baxter Ruse, is the name. You guys will get my notes, all of this later. He is also a pediatric endocrinologist. I'm sorry, I kind of mispronounced that, but he's another pediatrician hormone doctor. And his testimony, I did like it. I felt like it had a little bit of too much medical jargon, but I was able to keep up with it for the most part. I'm not sure about the jury. But something that Jessica and Laura and lawyers like to try to do is they try to trap both Ruse, and then the other expert witness for Jeff is Stephen Levine. And he's a psychiatrist, and both of them work and have experience working in clinics that deal with transgender individuals and individuals who have gender dysphoria. So each time Jessica or Laura tried to trap both men in question, it gets shut down. At one point, Laura gets so fed up with Ruse, this is just my impression, my observation, is that she finally just passed him off because she kept trying to say, and I can't remember what this is called. It's a hormone in the brain that communicates what the brain tells it to do, this and that, in regards to reproduction of the ovaries and testes and things like that. It's a communicator between the body and the brain, I believe. Sorry, like I said, medical jargon. And then she tried to equate it to a normal hormone like testosterone, progesterone, or estrogen, and he said flat out, no, there is no hormone in the body that can replicate what this specific one did. So after that, she pretty much got fed up and passed him off. So yeah, they keep trying to try for the emotional pose, and I love this about Jan because she had the entire courtroom laughing. Not at her, but so Jan was asked, would it surprise you that Jeff would not attend, because she kept calling James Luna. So, and the rest of us is like, no, he's James. And I love it, Jen kept correcting her too, so that was golden. But anyway, so Jessica goes, well, would it surprise you that Jeff wouldn't go to Luna's soccer game if she was wearing a dress? And she goes, you mean James's soccer game if he was wearing a dress? And no, that wouldn't surprise me because she wouldn't do it either, because to many parents, and I'm not a parent, but I wouldn't go either because I'd be encouraging and affirming the behavior. So no, and go against more their morality to begin with. And some people are like, oh well, it's a soccer team to support your kid. It's like it's not the full gravity of what's going on. Um, so, but anyway, Jessica continued goes, well, is that loving or supporting? Blah 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 blah. And Jan just straight up looks at her and goes, I don't like that question. I don't think that's a good question. The entire courtroom freaking laughed, including the jury, and it was glorious. Also, something too is when they were posting, as I brought up the photos, because I really do feel that this is really more important. Like I said, the expert witnesses were awesome, and I liked them. And there's a small little there's actually kind of a big highlight with Levine and Dunlop, the amicus attorney, that I really enjoyed. But when O'Donnell was bringing up the photos and talking about them with Jan, the jury was responding to it. I heard a lot of and things like that. Again, I think Anne's legal team was stupid for making such a big stink about my photos and the video simply because you are giving more credence to the evidence that's already going to be presented with the photos, everything on saveJames, the photos, the videos. You're giving more credence because you are validating this severity, if you will, of a nobody. Again, I'm no one big, I'm a small fish, and I'm just Chambers, but you're validating the photos and the video taken by nobody, mind you, and trying to make such a big mess out of it and a big stink. I think their intention was, again, this is my hypothesis, is trying to get me to remove them. I will not be posting any more, mind you, but I have been saying that they do not want the real James out. They do not want his real image out, who he really is. So that and then they pointed at me and Jeff Morgan, and because they brought up his interview with Jeff Younger, it's like, you guys don't know how social media works at all. So anyway, let's get on to the highlight with Levine and Dunlap. So Dunlap does this hypothetical scenario and describes it, if not exact, 95% similar to the situation that we have with James. Laura proceeds to jump up and object and goes, well, I thought you weren't giving an opinion on the situation with James, and whatnot. And so Dunlap jumps up and objects back. This is hypothetical. So the judge allowed it. Which I was actually kind of surprised. So Dunlap continues with his question on this hypothetical situation and gets Levine's opinion on it. So here's the interesting thing that I can sum up the opinion. This is dumbed down layman's terms, the basic I could get it, is that both expert witnesses, Stephen Levine and William Ruse, feel that the wait and see approach is best on top of what they call the preferable result is for the child to desist. So when they say desist, that means a child that could be trans or gender dysphoria, they go back, their gender identity aligns with their biological state. So both said that this is the preferable outcome because they don't become medically independent. Also, something they pointed out too is that the younger a child gets started on puberty blockers, the sooner they become dependent on cross-sex hormones, and they are stuck on those things for life. So there is a lot of good stuff that happened today. You'll see it in the notes. Again, there's some jargon I couldn't keep up with. I read up on some stuff-ish, but anyway, so I'm going to cut it off here. The notes will be up a little bit later. But yeah, like I said, we reconvene 8:30 in the morning, go till 11:30 because she has a full docket, and then it goes to Monday. So Anyway, you guys have a good day. I don't think there's really anything more. Anne was supposed to be put on the stand, but switch it up because of time. And I really think the junk Laura did, not Laura, but Jessica did on purpose. It just was kind of garbage. Oh, that was another thing, because that's right, Jeff was on the stand today. Duh. How about I talk about that real quick? So Jeff was on the stand, and Jessica comes after him in regards to the old custody battle. So saying, oh, well, it was founded that you lied on your resume. It was founded that you harmed the girls, Zoe and Sydney. This was founded. This was founded. It was founded that you committed fraud, blah, 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 blah. And so I love Jeff's wording because he didn't acknowledge it's found. He said the court found it. The court found this. The court found that. It does not mean the court's findings were accurate. So his wording was excellent. And he, for the most part, stood his ground. He really did, because Jessica tried to trap him with some guilt, tried to shame him a little bit and guilt ride him, and he just wasn't having it. So for the most part, I really think he did good. It's right now, it's kind of up in the air. There's a couple of more witnesses. They claws and teeth out, but I do think that we kind of, as the saying goes, clapped back today. Or rather, Jeff's legal team. That's just my opinion. Again, I'm not a lawyer. You'll see from the notes, though, and like I said, the amicus attorney Dunlap is very clever and knows how to bounce off of either the witness and pulling certain stuff out that he needs, or being able, I don't want to say get around, but I would say how to word stuff cleverly. There is an art and a tactic when it comes to pulling stuff out of witnesses. There really is. I can't agree that Laura and Jessica are good at it, because they try the question, usually object, non-responsive, and it's sustained, and then they do this roundabout thing, and they come back to that same question again. So they're not very tactful about it. Somebody commented on that you have high-profile people in the courtroom and they're high-profile witnesses, and they don't know how to handle them very well. I have to agree. That's just my observation of the court. I'm gonna cut it here, but yeah, I think we kind of Jeff stood his ground today. So anyway, I'll get this notes up when I can. You guys have a good night. Oops, come on.